I cheated on my wife at my own wedding reception. Not physically. But in a way that destroyed everything just the same. Let me back up. Her name is Emma. We met in college, got engaged 2 years ago, and she was everything I thought I wanted. Beautiful, kind, patient with my weird quirks. My best friend Marcus loved her too. Marcus, who I'd known since 7th grade. Marcus, who was my best man. Marcus, who knew me better than anyone. Or so I thought. The wedding was perfect. Emma looked like something out of a dream. Her vows made half the room cry. When she said "I choose you," today and every day after, I felt like the luckiest guy alive. My parents sat in the front row, beaming. They'd paid for everything, of course. The venue, the band, the flowers that cost more than my first car. They wanted it to be special. They wanted a lot of things to be special, I'd learn. The reception was in full swing. Open bar, crowd on the dance floor, Emma laughing with her bridesmaids. I was riding high on champagne and adrenaline when Marcus pulled me aside. His face was red. His eyes were glassy. He'd been drinking since the ceremony. "Hey man, we need to talk," he slurred, gripping my shoulder too hard. "Dude, you okay?" I laughed, trying to steer him toward some water. No, I'm not." He looked at me with this expression I'd never seen before. Guilty. Broken. "I can't do this anymore. I can't stand here and watch you start your life with her when everything about us is a lie." I thought he was going to confess feelings for Emma. My stomach dropped. But what came out of his mouth was so much worse. "Your parents have been paying me since middle school to be your friend." The music kept playing. People kept dancing. Emma was somewhere behind me, probably wondering where I'd gone. And I just stood there, processing words that didn't make sense. What? They hired me. My mom was their housekeeper, remember? She told them I was a good kid, needed money for college someday. They made her an offer. Be friends with their son. Make sure he's not lonely. Make sure he's happy. $500 a month back then. More as we got older. My legs felt weak. "You're drunk. You're not making sense." I wish I was lying. He pulled out his phone with shaking hands, pulled up a banking app. There it was. A deposit from 2 days ago. $2,000. The memo said, monthly consultant fee. 20 years of deposits. I didn't need to scroll to know they were all there. Every birthday party I came to? Paid. Every time I listened to you talk about your feelings? Paid. That trip to Vegas for your bachelor party? Bonus pay. His voice cracked. I took the money because I needed it. My mom needed it. But somewhere along the way, I actually started to care about you, and that made it so much worse. I couldn't breathe. Why are you telling me this now? Because I can't watch you marry her thinking I'm here because I want to be, because 20 years is too long to lie to someone who trusts you. Because I'm a coward and the alcohol finally made me brave enough to blow up my own life. Someone called my name. Emma, probably. I ignored it. Does everyone know? I asked. Just your parents and my mom. And now you. The room was spinning. Every memory I had was suddenly suspect. That time in 8th grade when I was being bullied and Marcus stood up for me. Was that real or was that the job? When my dog died sophomore year and he stayed up with me all night. When he was my roommate in college and talked me through my first heartbreak. When he flew across the country to be there when my grandmother passed. Was any of it real? I need you to leave, I heard myself say. I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. He was crying now. For what it's worth, you're a good guy. Better than me. You deserved a real friend. He walked away. Just left the reception, still in his tuxedo. I stood there for what felt like hours but was probably seconds. Then I turned and found my parents. They were at their table, laughing with my aunts and uncles. My dad saw me coming. His smile faded. We need to talk. Now. We went to a side room. My mom tried to smooth it over before I even spoke. Sweetheart, whatever Marcus said, he was drunk and probably just emotional about. Is it true? Silence. Is it true? My father straightened his tie. Always so composed. We did what we thought was best for you. That was a yes. My mother reached for my hand. I jerked away. You were so lonely in middle school. You were struggling to make friends. We just wanted you to be happy. So you bought me a friend. We gave a nice boy an opportunity and gave you companionship. It was mutually beneficial. For 20 years. You paid someone to pretend to care about me for 20 years. My dad's jaw tightened. Marcus did care about you. You saw how upset he was. That wasn't fake. How would I know? How would I ever know what's real now? The door opened. Emma stood there in her wedding dress, concern etched across her face. "Baby, what's wrong? People are asking where you are." I looked at her. Sweet Emma, who had no idea she'd just married someone whose entire life was built on lies. Someone whose own parents didn't think he was worth loving without a financial incentive for others. "I need to tell you something," I said. I told her everything. Right there. Still in my tux. On what was supposed to be the happiest day of our lives. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she was quiet for a long time. "I need some air," she finally said. She left. "My parents tried to do damage control. This doesn't change anything. You still had a wonderful childhood. You still have a beautiful wife. Get out. Sweetheart. Get out." They left. I stood alone in that room while my wedding reception continued without me. The groom who'd disappeared. I could hear the music, the laughter, everyone having the time of their lives while mine fell apart. Emma came back 30 minutes later. Her makeup was ruined from crying. "I love you," she said. "But I need you to understand something. I married you because I chose you. Not because anyone paid me. Not because it was convenient. Because I looked at you and decided you were worth building a life with. I know. Do you? Because right now you look like you don't trust anything or anyone." She was right. I didn't. "What do you want to do?" I asked. "I want to go back to our reception and celebrate our marriage. And tomorrow, we're going to figure this out together. But tonight, I need you to decide if you're going to let this destroy us before we even start." I wanted to. God, I wanted to go back out there and pretend everything was fine. But every time I looked at her, all I could think was, what else is fake? What else have my parents manipulated? Did they approve of Emma because they liked her or because they orchestrated this too? "I can't," I whispered. "I can't go back out there and smile and dance and pretend I'm not falling apart." Her face crumbled. "Okay." She left again. I eventually made my way back to the reception. Made an announcement that I wasn't feeling well. Food poisoning, maybe. Everyone was so understanding. So sympathetic. We cut the night short. Emma and I went to our honeymoon suite in separate cars. That night, on what should have been our wedding night, we slept in the same bed but didn't touch. She cried quietly. I stared at the ceiling. By morning, she was gone. There was a note on the pillow: "I'm staying at my sister's for a few days. I need to think. I love you, but I don't know if that's enough anymore." I called Marcus. Blocked number. I called my parents. Blocked too. I sat in that hotel room for 3 days. Didn't eat. Barely slept. Just replayed 20 years of memories, wondering which ones mattered and which ones were just someone clocking in for their shift. When I finally went home, Emma's things were gone. Not all of them. Just enough to tell me she wasn't coming back anytime soon. There was another note on the kitchen counter. I tried. I really did. "But you looked at me on our wedding night like you didn't trust me, and I can't build a marriage on that. I'll always love the man I thought I married. I hope you find him again." That was 3 months ago. We're not divorced yet. She says she wants to try counseling first. I go. I sit there and talk about trust issues and abandonment and how it feels to learn your whole life was a performance someone was paid to give. The therapist nods and takes notes and probably thinks I'm beyond help. Emma comes to every session. She tries so hard. She holds my hand and tells me she's real. That we're real. But I can't feel it anymore. I got a message from Marcus last week. Just one line: "I'm sorry I ruined your wedding. You deserved better." From me. From them. From all of it. I didn't respond. My parents have been texting. Calling. Showing up at my door. They want to explain. They want me to understand they did it out of love. That they just wanted me to be happy. But here's what I understand now: they didn't trust me to make friends on my own. They didn't think I was enough just being myself. They bought me companionship because deep down, they didn't believe anyone would choose me without a reason. And now I don't believe it either. I cheated on my wife. Not with another woman. But with doubt, with paranoia, with the inability to trust that anything in my life is genuine. I chose suspicion over her on the day I promised to choose her forever. The counseling sessions got worse before they got better. Which is to say, they never got better. Week 4, Emma showed up with her mother. I didn't know she was bringing her. Mrs. Chen sat in the corner of the therapist's office, arms crossed, looking at me like I was a puzzle she'd given up trying to solve. "I asked my mom to come," Emma said quietly. "Because I need you to hear what this is doing to me from someone who isn't me." Dr. Patterson, our therapist, nodded encouragingly. I felt ambushed. Mrs. Chen didn't waste time. My daughter has cried herself to sleep every night for 3 months. She planned that wedding for a year. She wrote those vows sitting at my kitchen table, changing every word until it was perfect. And you let one piece of information destroy everything. One piece? My voice came out harsher than I intended. My entire friendship with Marcus was fake. My parents paid someone to care about me. And that's terrible, Mrs. Chen said. It is. But Emma didn't do that. Emma chose you. And you're punishing her for your parents' mistakes. I'm not punishing anyone. You are. Emma's voice was small. You look at me like you're waiting for me to admit I'm fake too. Like there's going to be some reveal that I was hired as well. That's not, it is. She was crying now. I told you about my promotion at work last week. You know what you said? That's great. Nothing else. You didn't ask questions. You didn't celebrate with me. You just nodded like you were waiting for me to finish talking. I didn't remember that conversation. But I believed her. I don't know how to fix this, I admitted. Neither do I, Emma whispered. I don't know how to prove I'm real to you when you've decided nothing is. Dr. Patterson intervened. Let's talk about actionable steps. But I wasn't listening. I was thinking about the promotion Emma mentioned. She'd been working toward it for 2 years. It was a big deal. And I'd responded like she'd told me she bought new dish soap. What was wrong with me? That night, Emma went back to her sister's place. Mrs. Chen gave me a hug on her way out. It felt like a goodbye. She loves you, Mrs. Chen said. But love isn't enough when someone won't let themselves be loved back. I called my brother that night. Jason lives in Seattle, works in tech, barely comes home for holidays. We're not close. Never have been. Mom and Dad did the same thing to me, he said when I told him everything. No shock in his voice. Just tired acceptance. What? Different version. They didn't hire me a friend. They hired me tutors who were instructed to pretend to be study buddies. Made sure I got into the right programs, the right sports teams, the right social circles. All carefully curated. All bought and paid for. My stomach turned. Why didn't you tell me? What was I supposed to say? Hey little brother, our parents don't think we're good enough on our own? You were happy. At least, I thought you were. Did you ever confront them? Once. Senior year of college. Dad told me I was ungrateful. Said they'd given me every advantage and I was acting like it was child abuse. We didn't talk for 3 years after that. But you talk to them now. I tolerate them now. There's a difference. He paused. You want my advice? Cut them off completely. They won't change. They'll just keep justifying it, and you'll keep getting angrier. I'm already angry. Yeah. I can hear it. But you're directing it at the wrong people. Emma didn't do this to you. Marcus at least had the guts to tell you the truth. Mom and Dad are the ones who thought their money could buy you a personality. After we hung up, I went through old photo albums. Every picture of Marcus and me felt tainted now. Halloween costumes. High school graduation. College move-in day. His face next to mine, smiling, looking like he belonged there. How much of that smile was real? I found myself calculating. $500 a month for 7 years. $6,000 a year. $42,000. Then it went up. By college, Marcus had confirmed he was making $2,000 a month. Over 20 years, my parents had spent close to $300,000 on my friendship. $300,000 because they didn't think I could make friends on my own. I threw up in the kitchen sink. The next day, I did something stupid. I drove to Marcus's apartment. He answered the door in sweatpants and a stained t-shirt. He looked terrible. Like he hadn't slept in weeks. "What are you doing here?" he asked. "I don't know." We stood there, staring at each other. Two people who'd known each other for 20 years and suddenly didn't know each other at all. "Can I come in?" He hesitated, then stepped aside. His apartment was a mess. Takeout containers everywhere. Dishes piled in the sink. It smelled like depression. "I got fired," Marcus said, collapsing onto his couch. They asked why I left the wedding early. I told them the truth. HR decided I had ethical concerns and let me go. Good, I thought. Then immediately felt guilty for thinking it. "Why did you really tell me?" I asked. "At the wedding." "Why then?" Marcus stared at the ceiling. "Because I watched you marry someone who actually chose you. And I realized I'd never done that. Every moment we shared, there was always this voice in my head reminding me I was being paid. Even when I didn't want it to matter, it did. Did you ever actually like me?" "Yes." He looked at me then, and I saw real pain in his eyes. "I know you don't believe that. But yeah. Somewhere around sophomore year of high school, it stopped being a job. You were just my friend. My best friend. And that made it so much worse because I knew I could never tell you the truth. So you waited until my wedding day? I'm a coward. We've established that, he laughed bitterly. I thought maybe if I told you when you were happy, surrounded by people who loved you, it wouldn't destroy you. Clearly, I was wrong. It destroyed my marriage. I know. Emma called me last week. Asked me to talk to you, tell you she's real. I told her I'm the last person who should be vouching for what's real. I sat down on the opposite end of the couch. My brother told me mom and dad did the same thing to him. Different version, same manipulation. Yeah. I figured they had a pattern. You knew? Your mom told my mom once. They thought I couldn't hear them. Said something about how both their boys needed extra help being successful. We sat in silence for a while. I don't forgive you, I finally said. I don't expect you to. But I need to know something. Those times when I really needed you. When my dog died. When grandma passed. When I was drowning in finals week and you stayed up studying with me. Were those real? Marcus wiped his eyes. Those were the most real moments of my life. That's what I'm going to hate myself for forever. Not the lying. The fact that the best friendship I ever had was built on a transaction. I left without saying goodbye. That night, Emma called. My sister told me you went to see Marcus, she said. Yeah. Did it help? I don't know. Maybe. He lost his job because of this. Good. I was surprised. Emma wasn't usually vindictive. He deserved that, she continued. I'm sorry he's hurting, but he made his choices. We're all living with consequences now. Emma. I need to tell you something. Her voice was shaking. I'm pregnant. The world stopped. What? I'm 8 weeks pregnant. I found out 2 weeks ago. I've been trying to figure out how to tell you when you can barely look at me. 8 weeks. We'd conceived right before the wedding. Maybe on the night of my bachelor party, when I came home early and surprised her. When everything was still good. Say something, Emma pleaded. I don't know what to say. Tell me you're happy. Tell me you're scared. Tell me something that isn't nothing. Are you keeping it? Long silence. Yes, she said quietly. I'm keeping our baby. With or without you. Emma. I love you. I have loved you since the day we met at that stupid college party where you spilled beer on my shoes. I chose you then, I chose you at our wedding, and I'm choosing you now. But I'm done begging you to believe me. She hung up. I sat on my floor and cried for the first time since the wedding. Not quiet tears. Ugly, body-shaking sobs. Because I was going to be a father. Because the woman I loved was carrying my child. Because I'd spent 3 months destroying the best thing in my life over something she didn't do. I called her back immediately. I believe you, I said when she answered. I believe you're real. I believe us. Do you? Or are you just saying that because I'm pregnant? Both. Maybe. I don't know. But I want to figure it out. I want to be there. Please. I'm tired, Emma said. I'm tired of fighting for us alone. I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. Then tell me what does. Another long silence. Your parents, she finally said. You need to deal with them. Really deal with them. Because I'm not bringing a baby into a family where your mother and father think love is a transaction. Where they might try to buy our child's friends too. She was right. Okay. Okay? I'll talk to them. Tomorrow. I'll fix this. You can't fix 20 years in one conversation. I can try. We talked for another hour. About the baby. About her doctor's appointments. About how scared she was to do this without me. I told her she wouldn't have to. I'd be there. For everything. I don't know if she believed me. But she wanted to. The next morning, I drove to my parents' house. The gate code still worked. The front door was unlocked. My mother was in the kitchen, making coffee. She looked up when I walked in, and her face lit up with hope. Sweetheart. Emma's pregnant. She froze. We're having a baby. Your grandchild. And before that happens, you need to understand something. My father walked in, alerted by voices. Son. You don't get to call me that until you hear what I have to say. They both went quiet. You stole my childhood from me, I said. My voice was steady. Calm. Which somehow made it worse. You decided I wasn't good enough to make my own friends. To earn my own relationships. You paid someone to care about me because you thought I couldn't do it myself. We were trying to help, you were trying to control. And it worked. For 20 years, it worked. But now I'm married. I'm going to be a father. And you don't get to do this to my child. My mother started crying. We love you. Everything we did was because we love you. No. Love trusts. Love believes in people. What you did was buy me a life because you were ashamed of the one I would have built myself. My father's face hardened. You're being dramatic. Marcus was one friend. One. You had plenty of others. Did I? Or did you pay them too? Silence. Oh my God, I whispered. There were others. My mother covered her mouth. Who? I demanded. Who else? It doesn't matter. Who? My father sighed. Your basketball coach in high school. We paid him to make sure you got playing time. And your resident advisor in college. We made a generous donation to the university in exchange for making sure you were placed with someone who would look out for you. The room spun. Anyone else? They didn't answer. Anyone else? Your first girlfriend, my mother whispered. Sarah. We paid her to go to prom with you. I walked out. Got in my car. Drove to Emma's sister's place. She opened the door, took one look at my face, and knew. It was worse than I thought, I said. Emma appeared behind her sister. How much worse? All of it. My coach. My RA. My first girlfriend. They orchestrated everything. Emma's hand went to her stomach. Protective. Instinctive. I'm cutting them off, I said. Completely. They don't get to know our baby. They don't get to be in our lives. I'm done. Are you sure? Emma asked. They're your parents. They're manipulators who think love can be bought. Our child deserves better. Emma steadied my face for a long moment. Then she nodded. Okay. Okay? Come inside. Let's figure this out together. I'm writing this from Emma's sister's guest room. Emma's asleep next to me, my hand on her still flat stomach. We have 6 months to prepare for this baby. 6 months to rebuild what I broke. Dr. Patterson says trauma responses aren't logical. That learning my whole life was manufactured triggered something primal. A complete loss of trust in reality itself. But here's what I'm learning, Emma is real. This baby is real. And every day I spent drowning in paranoia was a day I chose my parents' betrayal over her truth. Marcus texted tonight. Just 2 words, congratulations, man. I didn't block his number. But I didn't respond either. Some betrayals you survive. Some you don't. I'm still figuring out which category this falls into. The baby came early. 6 weeks early, to be exact. Emma went into labor at 34 weeks while we were having dinner at her sister's place. 1 minute she was laughing at something on TV, the next she was doubled over, water breaking all over the hardwood floor. I drove like a maniac to the hospital. Ran 3 red lights. Didn't care. Our daughter was born at 2:47 a.m., weighing 4 pounds, 3 ounces. They took her immediately to the NICU. Emma didn't even get to hold her. Is she okay? Emma kept asking, still hazy from the emergency delivery. Is our baby okay? The doctors said probably. Premature but stable. Good lung development. But they needed to monitor her. We named her Sophie. Emma's grandmother's name. For the first week, Sophie lived in an incubator. Wires and tubes everywhere. So tiny. So fragile. Emma and I took turns sitting beside her, putting our fingers through the holes in the plastic so she could feel our touch. I'd never been more terrified in my life. Emma's family came. Her parents, her sister, cousins, aunts, uncles. They brought food and blankets and took shifts at the hospital so we could go home and shower. My parents didn't come. Because I hadn't told them. On day 5, my phone rang. My mother. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. And again. 15 times in 2 hours. Finally, Emma looked at me from Sophie's bedside and said, just answer it. No. She's going to find out eventually. Your brother probably already told them. She was right. Jason had visited yesterday, bearing coffee and looking uncomfortable in the NICU like most people do. He'd held Sophie for exactly 30 seconds before handing her back to a nurse, terrified he'd break her. Let them find out on their own, I said. Emma's expression hardened. Something I wasn't used to seeing. I'm going to say something, and you're not going to like it. Okay. This anger you're carrying? It's going to poison everything. It's already poisoned our marriage. Don't let it poison our daughter too. I'm protecting her from them. No. You're punishing them. There's a difference. They paid people to pretend to care about me, Emma. They orchestrated my entire childhood. I know. And that's horrible. But Sophie's in an incubator fighting to breathe properly, and you're letting old wounds bleed all over her first week of life. I wanted to argue. But she was right. That night, I called my mother back. She answered on the first ring. Thank God. We've been so worried. Jason said Emma had the baby. She did. Sophie. She's in the NICU. Sharp intake of breath. Is she all right? She's stable. Premature. Which hospital? We'll come right now. No. Silence. You're not coming, I continued. You're not meeting her. Not now. Maybe not ever. Please. My mother's voice cracked. She's our granddaughter. And I'm your son. But that didn't stop you from treating my entire life like a business arrangement. We made mistakes. We know that. But shutting us out isn't about punishment. It's about protection. I will not let you do to Sophie what you did to me. My father's voice in the background, let me talk to him. The phone switched hands. You're being unreasonable, my father said. All business. No emotion. Classic him. We're a family. You can't just erase us. Watch me. Your mother is devastated. She hasn't stopped crying for days. Good. Maybe she'll understand a fraction of how I felt finding out my best friend was on payroll. That was different, was it? Was Sarah different? Was my basketball coach different? How many people in my life were bought and paid for, Dad? Give me a number. He didn't answer. That's what I thought. I hung up. Emma was watching me from the hospital bed they'd set up in Sophie's NICU room. She'd barely left our daughter's side. Feel better? She asked. No. Good. Anger that easy to solve isn't real anger. Sophie made a small noise in her incubator. Both of us immediately looked over, checking monitors, making sure everything was okay. She was fine, just stretching. I don't know how to forgive them, I admitted. Then don't. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But don't let their mistakes steal your joy right now. We have a daughter. She's alive. She's fighting. That's what matters. Emma was right. But knowing something intellectually and feeling it emotionally are different things. Sophie came home after 3 weeks in the NICU. 21 days of holding our breath every time an alarm went off. 21 days of learning how to feed her through a tube, how to monitor her oxygen, how to function on 2 hours of sleep. But she came home. Emma's mother moved in with us for the first month. I'd never been more grateful for anyone in my life. She taught us everything. How to swaddle. How to tell different cries apart. How to survive the 3 a.m. feedings when your brain is mush and you're pretty sure you're doing everything wrong. You're doing fine, Mrs. Chen would say, taking Sophie from my shaking hands when I was convinced I was about to drop her. All new parents feel like this. Even the ones whose parents paid for their childhood friends? I asked one night, delirious from exhaustion. Mrs. Chen fixed me with a look. Especially them. Because they spend so much time questioning every relationship that they forget to trust themselves. She was right. I was so paranoid about repeating my parents' mistakes that I was creating new ones. Like the daycare incident. Sophie was 4 months old when Emma went back to work part-time. We'd found a daycare that came highly recommended. Clean. Safe. Good teachers. Except one day I noticed the director being especially attentive to Sophie. Picking her up first when babies cried. Giving her extra attention during tummy time. My brain immediately went to the worst place, my parents had gotten to them. I confronted the director after pickup. Are my parents paying you? She looked at me like I'd grown a second head. Excuse me? My parents. Are they giving you money to give my daughter special treatment? Sir, I don't even know who your parents are. You're sure? I'm sure. Her expression shifted from confused to concerned. Is everything okay at home? Emma was mortified when I told her. You accused our daycare of being in on some conspiracy? I was just checking. You were being paranoid. Again. She was right. Again. Dr. Patterson, who we'd started seeing again after Sophie was born, said it was trauma response. That my brain was trying to protect Sophie by seeing threats everywhere. Hypervigilance, she called it. But your daughter's actual threat isn't conspiracy, Dr. Patterson said during one session. It's having a father who can't trust anyone. That's what will hurt her. That hit hard. Marcus reached out on Sophie's 6-month birthday. Sent a card to her address. Inside was a gift certificate to a children's bookstore and a note. I know I have no right to be part of her life. But I wanted her to have books. Books were real between us. All those nights reading comics. That mattered. I hope it still can. I threw the card away. Emma retrieved it from the trash. He's trying, she said. So maybe you could try too. Try what? Forgiving him for lying to me for 20 years? Try remembering that he told you the truth when he didn't have to. He could have kept collecting checks and you never would have known. He told me at our wedding, Emma. Our wedding. Because he couldn't watch you start your life on a lie. Yes, the timing was terrible. But the intention was honest. I didn't want to hear it. But she planted a seed. 2 weeks later, Marcus showed up at our door. I opened it to find him standing there, thinner than I'd ever seen him, dark circles under his eyes. "I'm not asking for forgiveness," he said before I could speak. "I'm not asking to be friends again. I just need you to hear something. I don't." I tried to give the money back. That stopped me. What? 2 years ago. I got a real job. Good salary. I went to your parents and said I wanted to end the arrangement. That I'd pay back what they'd given me for college. And? Your dad laughed. Said it wasn't about the money anymore. Said I was the best investment they'd ever made because I kept you stable. Kept you happy. He said if I ended it, he'd make sure I never worked in this industry again. My blood went cold. So I kept taking the money. Like a coward. Because I had loans on my mom's medical bills and I convinced myself it was fine. That we were really friends anyway, so what did it matter? He wiped his eyes. But it did matter. It always mattered. Why are you telling me this? Because Emma called me last week. Told me you're self-destructing. Seeing conspiracies everywhere. Pushing away everyone who cares about you because you can't tell what's real anymore. I shot a look back into the house. Emma was in the nursery with Sophie, pointedly not looking at the door. "She's worried about you," Marcus continued. "And she's right to be. What your parents did was horrible. But you're letting it hollow you out, and eventually there won't be anything left for Sophie or Emma to hold on to. You don't get to give me advice. Not after. I know. But I'm giving it anyway. Because someone has to tell you that you're becoming your parents. I'm nothing like them." "Really?" "Because they didn't trust you to make real friends. And now you don't trust anyone to be real with you. Sounds pretty similar to me." He left before I could respond. I stood in the doorway for a long time. That night, after Sophie was asleep, I told Emma about Marcus's visit. "I called him," she admitted. "I'm sorry. I know you didn't want me to, but I didn't know what else to do." "Why?" "Because 2 days ago, Sophie smiled at my mother and you asked if Mom had given her candy to make her smile. She's 6 months old, she doesn't eat candy. You were suspicious of a baby smiling at her grandmother. God. I had done that. I'm losing it," I whispered. "Not yet. But you're close." Emma took my hand. "I need you to hear this. Really hear it. Your parents broke your trust. Marcus broke your trust. But I didn't. Sophie didn't. My family didn't. Most people in your life didn't. And if you keep treating everyone like they're guilty until proven innocent, you're going to be alone. I don't know how to stop. Therapy. Real therapy. Not just showing up once a week and talking in circles. Actual work." She was right. I'd been going through the motions with Dr. Patterson but never actually doing the hard work of healing. So I committed. 3 times a week. Individual therapy, couples therapy, even started going to a support group for people with family trauma. It was brutal. Facing the reality that my parents had stolen something from me I could never get back. That Marcus's betrayal, however unintentional it became, had damaged my ability to trust. That I was passing that damage on to my daughter. The hardest session was when Dr. Patterson asked, "What would you tell Sophie if she was in your position?" I'd tell her she deserved better. And that she's worth real friendship. Real love. "So why don't you believe that about yourself?" I couldn't answer. Sophie turned 1 last month. We had a small party. Emma's family came. A few friends from work. Sophie smashed cake into her face and laughed and it was perfect. My parents sent a gift. A college fund. $25,000. I sent it back. Emma didn't argue this time. Just nodded when I told her. "Good," she said. "That's the first boundary you've set that came from health instead of anger." She was right. Marcus sent a card. Just a picture of a book. The Velveteen Rabbit. A story about becoming real through love. I didn't throw it away this time. I'm not ready to forgive him. Maybe I never will be. But I'm learning that forgiveness and healing aren't the same thing. I can heal without absolving him. I can move forward without forgetting. My brother visits sometimes. He and Sophie have a weird bond. He's better with her than he ever was with me. Maybe because he knows what it's like to grow up questioning everything. "You doing okay?" he asked last time he was here. "Getting there. Good. She needs you present. Not perfect. Just present. We're trying for normal now. Whatever that means. Emma and I are solid again. Not perfect. We fight. We disagree. But it's real. Sophie takes her first steps yesterday. wobbled across the living room into Emma's arms. Both of us cried like idiots. This morning I found myself looking at Sophie and thinking about all the ways I could protect her. All the things I could control to keep her safe. Then I remembered my parents probably thought the same thing. So instead, I'm trying something radical. I'm going to let her make her own friends. Her own mistakes. Her own life. Even when it terrifies me. I saw my mother at the grocery store last week. She saw me too. Started walking over. I turned my cart around and left through the other entrance. Maybe someday I'll be ready to talk. To try to understand. To forgive. But not today. Today I'm going home to my daughter and my wife. To the life I almost destroyed because I couldn't trust it was real. Dr. Patterson asked me last session, "What did you learn from all this?" I thought about it for a long time. That you can't buy love. You can't manufacture connection. You can only show up honestly and hope the other person chooses to stay. And has anyone chosen to stay? I looked at Emma, sitting beside me. At the pictures of Sophie on my phone. At the life we built despite everything. Yeah, I said. The people who mattered. My parents stole 20 years of trust from me. Marcus's confession destroyed my wedding. I almost lost my marriage before it started. But here's what I know now, the real betrayal wasn't what they did to me. It was what I almost did to myself. I write this as a warning to anyone who thinks they can control how people love them. You can. All you can do is choose who you want to become in the aftermath of betrayal. I chose wrong for a long time. Chose suspicion over faith. Paranoia over peace. I'm choosing differently now. Sophie's crying. Emma's calling. Life is happening. And for the first time in a year, I'm not questioning if it's real.